Interesting day within the Saints. Were you surprised at all by this, Jim?
No, really, I would have been more surprised if it didn't happen today the way that it did. There are many reasons why the Saints could have wanted to take the action that they did today with Joe Horn. Too old, too expensive, too injury prone. But the primary reason I'll always believe is this: too high profile. Sean Payton, in my opinion, wants one voice in the locker room and outside it representing his team, and it's his. As the most senior member of the Saints offense and a four-time Pro Bowler, Joe would occasionally withdraw into the background, but was inexorably drawn back to the spotlight as self-appointed spokesman, team leader, and mentor to younger players. Joe stood out like his wardrobe always did, a contrast in paisley to a wall of beige that this head coach believes is the color of victory. Sean Payton hasn't missed yet. Joe Horn's performance elsewhere will determine whether this is his first misjudgment or another bullseye fired from gut level. General Manager Mickey Loomis sent Horn out on the right note, acknowledging the contributions of one of the best free agents the Saints have ever signed. The record book leaves no doubt about that. And while Loomis left open the door to Horn's return, make no mistake that it really opens only one way, and that's out.
I can't emphasize it enough. We'd love to have Joe be part of our team in 2007, and that door's wide open. You know, we'll see what's out there for Joe, and if you know, once he does that, then I'm sure we'll have another discussion about you know, his opportunity with us.
NFL offseason beginning, so too the Arena League regular season. Juan Kincaid on what the Voodoo expect out of theirs.
The Good Hands team is back in the building. Must mean the start of arena football is near.
Our first game's on the road. Like I said, it's going to be a tough one, but it's our first one, so there's going to be butterflies, and I think everybody's a little bit anxious, but that you're supposed to be.
The Voodoo opens its 2007 season this Saturday in Utah. At today's workout, Saints specialist Michael Lewis was having some flashbacks.
Like yesterday, with no problem. I mean, I can practically tell you just about everybody I played with.
And head coach Mike New is back for his third season at the helm. He likes what he's seen so far, but he's very anxious to see what his new recruits can do once the lights go on for real.
I like what I've seen out of training camp and some of the young guys, and you know, it all comes, everything's different though when you get into a game, but I certainly like what I've seen. 24 players on the active roster, but only 3, Tremaine Neal, Michael Landry, and Andy Kelly, the quarterback, are back from the 05 team, with Kelly being the most important returnee.
I think that's probably one of the major priorities. I mean, the reality is beyond his veteran leadership, he's been through pretty much every situation he can be through. He makes great decisions, and he's accurate with the football. And I think those are two of the most important things you can have in arena football as far as the quarterback's concerned.
We're an expansion team, and I've been in this system before, and we got some young guys and some guys that never played in this system. So naturally, the quarterback is a position, whether it's me or anybody else, you've got to be a leader on the field. And since I do know the system, I'm trying to help especially the young guys out as much as possible.
With the Voodoo, I'm Juan Kincaid, Channel 4 Eyewitness Sports.
GCA.
Joe Horn fires some final shots, huh?
Yeah, and pride comes into play at times like these, as I think it did today. Time will blur the memory of how Joe Horn and the Saints parted company, leaving all of those who watched and covered him with the memory of how he played, not essentially how he left. He was released by the team yesterday, which tried to leave the impression that he wanted to test the free agent waters, and they were granting him that desire. Today, Horn held a press conference saying he felt he was disrespected, left without a role, and treated like a 20-year-old rookie. During the postseason, it was an ongoing saga. Could Joe play? Would Joe play after he missed the last 4 regular season games with a torn groin muscle? Horn said today he was cleared by his doctors to play and could have, though he was dressed for neither.
I love this city with all my heart, and I'm fighting back the tears right now, but I felt in my heart and in my guts that I wasn't in Coach Payton's plans.
It's been largely overlooked that Horn was officially waived failed physical. The Denver Broncos replaced.
Well, Joe Horn will have to find another team.
Yeah, and his agent said he spoke with the Falcons first of all, and that he's spoken with about 7 teams who have interest in Joe Horn. Joe Horn will go down in Saints history as one of the team's most productive and popular players. Also, one of its most personally prideful. Juan Kincaid with more on how Horn felt in leaving the organization that waived him injured yesterday.
6 years ago when I got here, I promised the organization, and I made a commitment to the fans here that I was going to do everything in my power, hurt or healthy, to try to take this organization to another level.
Mission accomplished, but because of a lingering groin injury, one that kept him from passing a recent team physical, Horn didn't get to enjoy the Saints' historic postseason run. And now he's ready to run with another team.
I'm a free agent, okay? And I've expressed that interest to other people when I've talked to them on the phone. I want to play for a coach who says, you know what? It's not about Jim Haslett. He's in St. Louis. It's not about Coach Payton, Joe Horn. It's about what you can do for this organization, and you show me on the field.
Horn's decision to enter free agency came around noon yesterday. The Saints made it official 4 hours later during a press conference with General Manager Mickey Loomis. Loomis said the team had asked Horn to take a pay cut and to restructure his contract. But Horn said today that in the end, it was less about money and more about his relationship with head coach Sean Payton.
Before we walked through the door, it wasn't about reconstructing. I had a feeling that they were asking me to reconstruct my contract. It just wasn't about that. It was personal. I don't think I fit the plan for Coach Payton. I don't think personally that he wanted me to be here anymore.
Because of injuries, Payton's game plan didn't feature Horn for 8 games this past season, the latter 2 games coming in the playoffs, a time when Horn said he was cleared by doctors to play, but not by Payton.
Was Payton fair to you think?
I don't think
by
so.
Not speaking up?
I personally don't think so. And I'm sure he may tell you guys that he don't understand what I'm talking about. And that's fine. I'll be considered the bad guy, probably.
Could you play for Payton again? A lot has to change.
Absolutely. I mean, I personally don't think he'll call me and try to hash out some feelings that I had and have me back. I personally don't think he'll do that. But you never know. You never know.
I'm Juan Kincaid, Channel 4 Eyewitness Sports.
An attempt to contact Sean Payton for a response this afternoon was unsuccessful. Plumber